Good afternoon, everyone. Another puzzle attempt by me. So this rook is already in trouble. I can, if I could go rook e8 and then deliver check and is mate. But the problem with this idea is that my opponent can start checking me and give me perpetual check forever. So that doesn't work. Another idea is that pushing the pawn, making queen, and once he takes it, then I know that's not the way that goes. Another thought that came to my mind was to playing rook d1, forcing queen exchange with bishop and rook, but that doesn't work. I mean, after he exchanged bishop and rook, he just sits with king and activates the rook and grabs all my pawns. What is the plan here then? My rook is under attack, so this should be rook move, or at least bishop takes, rook says check. Bishop takes, rook says check, and then I go, he should take with the queen, of course. There is no other option because king c8 is a big blunder. I play rook e8 and make the pawn queen, and there is no escape room. But he will take it with the queen, and then I play rook c1, and the plan is to play c8 and make queen. In this case, he has no option but either playing queen d7 or playing king c8. Queen d7 maybe is the easiest way, because after I queen the pawn, he just takes it with the queen, I take it with the rook, and then he takes with the king, and then later he grabs my b pawn, and I don't know what's the what would be that game about. Like, I don't know what would be the outcome of that game. So after I take the rook, there is no rook c1. Yeah, rook c1 doesn't give us anything, right? Or does it? Maybe it does. I don't need to rush. I play rook c1, queen c7, then I do nothing. I slowly improve my king position, like king g1, g2, and so on. He cannot easily move the queen. He can give me infinite number of checks, actually. This is the problem. If I could prevent his checks from f4 and c1, like when I leave, when my rook would leave the back rank, he starts saying check at c1 and then f4, c1, f4, c1, f4. And I don't see easy. Maybe there is a way to get rid of that, right? Rook's e8, check c1, king up, check f4, king g1, check again. The only option is c1. No, it's not c1. Yeah, it's c1 and d4, but doesn't matter. Whatever he do, I go to f line, and I think that's the way. Let's go. Yeah. Oh, okay. It was much easier than that. Should I make it queen? Or should I take the rook first? No, let's make it queen. Oh, we saw too much about it. And we didn't escort well. So first check with which rook? Clearly this is a check. We are down a piece, complete piece. So we should win it in a glance. There is no check maybe. Rook, I'm thinking about rook g4. Rook g4. Ah, the problem with rook g4. Rook g4 was very nice if he didn't have rook f8. Rook at f8, because this rook f8 can go rook f1, and then I should defend with my other rook. I lose one of the rook, and let's say what was the plan. Rook g4 was good because then I could have check him at c4 with this rook, or d3 with the other rook, right? c4 or d3, both of them were option, and it's not just check, it's a mate, and he cannot control both of them with the bishop. He can control both of them with the bishop, actually. If I had my rook at d4, it was interesting, right? Because then I could immediately play c4. Let's try one or two check and see what happens in mind, actually. Rook c5 check, king goes up. There is no other option. King b4, and then rook check again. Okay, king escapes. I don't know what. This is not good. Rook d3 check, king goes up. Then I play king b2. King doesn't have an escape room, except that rook can defend. No, rook cannot defend. Let me do it, because after this, shit, why I failed here. No, let me tell you what I thought about this, because after this I said, this move, I didn't see this move. I said if he tries to block here, if he doesn't block, if he do something nonsense, okay, no, he do nothing, okay, then this is a mate, right? If yeah, this was a mate, but I thought that he wants to block with rook or something. But also another option here was that after here, if we do nonsense, okay, I had this mate as well. I had mate from two directions, one here, one here. So he couldn't block both of them in one shot, but actually he could, as you have seen. After here, he plays this move. And this is not mate because the pawn cuts the rook check. So after this, I had to first deliver next check, and this was very easy. I don't know why I still make such mistakes. And yeah, this is a mate, right? Whatever you play. I didn't see this pawn d5 move, to be honest. This was nice. I didn't see it. Yeah, that was my failure, but it was very awful failure. Okay, knight takes pawn with check. King doesn't have many room to go, right? I think king goes down. If it goes down, then we mate it. If it goes up, we mate it. So let's check it. I take check. If it goes to g1 is a mate immediately. Yes, queen f2, h2 is a mate. So it goes to, if it goes to g2 is the same, like queen f2, queen h2. Okay, so it the only option is going to h1, and then again we play queen takes h2. He has one option, and that's it. Yeah, now queen h3, and then this check, and then this check. We could have run it faster, but to be sure that we don't make a big mistake, I played it. So what's wrong with just pinning the queen? Attacking the queen. Attacking queen doesn't work, right? Because he just simply plays. No, I thought rook c7, and then he just simply plays rook d7, and I have nothing after that. I mean, what can I do? I can take the pawn and take the rook. Who cares about taking the rook? But maybe it is the way to go. Okay, rook c7, rook d7, then check. Check doesn't bring anything, or it does it. Check, he goes, he should go down, he cannot play bishop f5, because if he play bishop f5, I just take it, bishop is pinned, the pawn is pinned. So he goes down, there are two possible places to go, and either g8 or e8. I believe neither of them is good. You may think why. So check is very nice immediately. Is it? No, it's immediately is not nice, but after rook c7 check is very nice, because when it goes down, I can give a next check, this time with the rook, or I can even take the pawn with check. And no, I cannot take the pawn with check, because it simply takes with the queen and doesn't matter. So check right away. Let's say check right away. He just brings the queen forward. So first c7 is force, and because this rook is is badly placed right now. No, if I check, he goes down. Okay, he goes down, and then I can check with the rook. I can check with the rook. He just plays rook in front of my rook. Check goes there. Check with the rook. Plays the rook in front of a rook. Then I play queen down. I'm threatening to capture his rook. He brings the... He should take my rook. I take his rook as well with check, and he should defend this check again. He simply defends that check, right? Okay, then one more check. He goes down. I check with the rook in front. There is no other option, or there is option, like he can also play bishop in front of yeah, he can also play with bishop. Bishop e8 is one of the options. So it's not necessarily playing rook e8. But doesn't matter. If bishop e8, then I play queen b8, and he has to do what? He has to bring the king forward. He has to bring the king forward at defending the bishop. The only possible defender that he can add is a king. At this moment, I take the e pawn with check. He just takes with the queen. He just takes with the queen. Doesn't help. Oh, why it is so difficult, this one. I just don't want to lose because my rating went down, so it's not so super practical. This puzzle is just solving puzzle just for the sake of solving puzzle and getting 5 points. So you see, I am very far from my road to 3000. So let's okay, any other move except check. Any other move except check with the queen. Check with the bishop is another option. Oh, check with the queen at e6. Check with the queen as e6. He takes it, and then I take with the bishop. I take the rook first with check, and then I take the bishop. Okay, this is very easy, and I don't know why I saw too much. This is a common pattern that this bishop, after he takes, the bishop pinned the queen. I don't need to hurry. I will first take the rook, and once he moves, I take the queen. And after he takes, I can go and grab the pawns. Oof, we didn't lose points. Fortunately, I can say check with the queen, with the rook. I can say check with the rook, maybe it's better. And then what? I can check with the rook, or I can check with the rook. Okay, he can go back with the rook. Then I attack his queen with the rook. He don't go down, right? If I check with the rook, he doesn't go down because I play queen c7. So let's say this checks, it's safe. No rook down, then what can he do? I don't see very good move. Okay, no, it's not that simple. I thought about playing rook b8, and his only possible move is queen f7, because if we play queen, something like queen, no, maybe even queen d7 is possible, because I was thinking if you play d7, I can play queen f8, and then next move I want to mate at h8. I was thinking this way, but he can play because the problem with my approach of playing f8 and h8 is that it's too slow. Once I play f8, he plays queen c7 with check and starts perpetual check or even mate. So I may don't have enough time for that. So he plays even then he plays queen f7 easily. So I don't have queen f8 at all. What if I offer him some exchange? Is it good to exchange anything? So I honestly don't see anything stronger than rook b8 at the moment, because this is the only forcing move that forces the queen move, and the only place is either f7 or d7. Okay, but it's not enough. What is the weakness here? Weakness is this rook at e7. Oh, rook at e7 is a weakness, so I can play queen e5 easily. Right? Yeah, always think about weakness. If I was thinking about this earlier, see, this was super easy. I was thinking maybe king is the weakness, because I can mate it, but it wasn't possible. My king was under danger. The next weakness was this rook. Just attack it. And he cannot capture your queen because it is pinned for check. So he should capture your rook, and we capture the queen. That was easy. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time.